Just thinking about that, would it be true that in a particular metropolitan area where there is pending legislation to essentially suppress the likes of Airbnb, that you might in fact be on the side of the suppression because you can win on the other side with the hotels?
Well, I mean, what you try to get is a level playing field. And for example, if a city decides to have certain regulations for non-hotel accommodation rentals, you just want to glide in, you want to make sure that everybody has a, an equal level playing field on that. So, if Airbnb, I mean, the truth is there is demand for this type of housing, right? So cities will follow with the regulations, and hopefully it's very coherent, and hopefully Europe will help us in there, because wouldn't it be great if there would be some coherent structure of regulation around things? But there is an appetite for non-hotel accommodation, and you can give it more space, you can give it less space. You can regulate it more, you can regulate it less, but disappearing it will not. And you see that also here in the city of Amsterdam. There's some debates about it, but people understand that to a certain extent it's okay, and then in certain areas maybe less because they're very close to the center, so there's going to be regulation. You just have to adapt to that, and Airbnb has that too. Of course, I cannot talk for them. We have hotels and apartments. We have the whole wide set of offerings, and but we want to offer to customers what they want too, and I think our competition does too.
You talked about personalization. I think we all understand that personalization is going to be quite key in going forward in travel and making the right offer, which is spot on. What I quite often hear from Booking, and what I sometimes experience myself, that I quite often get the email or the display from the holiday which I took 2 months ago. How do you move away from that situation towards a situation where you are looking forward to see what my next holiday is going to look like?
Well, first of all, we made an impression on you, right?
You did.
You did. So some branding went down there. No, I think, of course, there's constant learning. I mean, to be honest, there's a lot of email marketing that you can involve, and we do a lot of it, of course, and it's very, very experimented on also, and we improve small steps. But I think, if I already now log in to my profile, I know that I've stayed in a certain type of accommodation. I can give my budget already, or my type of accommodation I like, and I can get proposals based on that, including what I've stayed in the previous trip. So that, you can look at it two ways. I love it because it takes into account my feeling of what I like. And some people say, well, no, I want to see the whole lot. Well, then go without any cookies and log in, and you'll see. But I think customers can go faster to what they want. You take friction away if you can pre-sense in a good way what they're looking for. And if you can help them go faster in that whole funnel.
I want to ask you about Google. You guys spend, I think it's about $1 billion a year with them on advertising. You've made them very rich. And a few years ago, if I did a search on, say, Paris hotels, I would see Booking.com ads, and I would see SEO, organic results from Booking.com, at the top of the page. And you worked hard over many years to do that, and that drove your business. Now, Google have inserted their own product in there, the Hotel Finder, and pushed your stuff and TripAdvisors and a lot of other people down below the fold. Does that annoy you just a little bit? You can probably admit to being a little bit annoyed without getting in trouble from your PR people.
No, I think to be honest, to innovate on this screen is the biggest change, right?
It's still 50% or 45%.
I know, but the big thing is, but if you see where the trend is going, it's this screen. It needs to happen in this screen. So forget about their own ads or whatever, or the space. Of course, everybody looks at the size, the digits, and how much. But if you really look at it, who's going to be credible in this space is going to be hugely important. And I think to be visible there, there is of course a big competition out there, because visibility to a customer costs something, goes at a cost. Is free visibility or organic results still important? Yes, it is. Is there less space for that on this? Yes, there is. No doubt. And that makes it more expensive for all of us, by the way, all of us in the industry. But that's the way the model works, and we also, as a customer, see the huge benefits of it, right?
Peter, we have a question from the audience.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
Sarah, journalist for Hospitality Insight in Germany. I have a quick question. I would like to actually jump on Thomas' question about EU regulations and the fact that regulations from country to country are completely different. And recently in France, Le Maire laws regarding digital and numeric environment has been passed, and rentals like Airbnb or even rentals on Booking.com will have to be registered officially, and only registered apartments and rentals could be listed. What is your comment on that? And do you intend to comply? Do you intend to fight against it? Because it's going to downsize your portfolio, I guess, quite a lot. Many French will not register officially because they simply could not, they are not owners of the apartment.
Yeah, I think, to be very honest, we're a law-abiding company, and that's it. We have been always. The truth is, you of course want it to be enforced in all platforms. So I think, and that's the big debate you always have. If you're the good citizen and then the whole industry does anything else and nothing happens, then you have a problem. But I think, in the first, we always try to abide by local laws. And I give you the example of Barcelona, but it's happening in different cities. So if there's legislation that requires a property to have a number or a registration for tax purposes, for all the collection purposes that cities might have, for regulation issues, for control issues, and that's the law, and we abide by it. And I think in Barcelona we were the first to do it. So that's our stance on that. Does that answer your question?
Have another question from the audience?
Hi, Peter. My name is Danilo from Amadeus. I was looking at Facebook Messenger, searched for Booking.com, was saying there typically responds within a few hours. Typed in hello, got no response back. You mentioned that you guys are working on some sort of chatbot functionality, messaging. You mentioned the importance of that for scalability. Could you share a little bit more what you're working on and when you plan to launch?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, so we, for example, if you're now a Genius user, you can, for example, also connect with Facebook Messenger and start communicating there. You typing hello, I'm not sure the bot recognizes hello as a real relevant request, I'm not sure. It's not in all languages, it's not on, we're testing very small scale. So the whole AI is a big learning thing. We have customer support on Facebook messages, or we have ways to support our customers, but it's not all artificial intelligence, not at all. We are at the early stages of seeing how that can scale. And that means in English language, on some customer bases, we're testing that. So it's not full on. Does that answer your question? Thanks.
One more question and we'll go back to the talkbackers for a bit.
Hi, it's Paul Tilstone from Festive Road. I specialise in the business travel space, and Booking.com has entered that space. And I'm a user of Booking.com for business travel. I like to see the sort of stuff that you do. But what I get sometimes when I've been to Barcelona is that a message a month later saying, hey, you want to go to Barcelona again? So I'm wondering how your test and learning is going in the business travel space, because it doesn't work that way.
Well, if you're a business traveler, you could repeat yourself very often, right? I remember I had to go to Madrid one time every week. As I said, I'm sure that everything that's electronic marketing is not perfect, but there's a lot of tests out there. And I'll also be very modest on that. The fact that I'm sitting here on stage and know, if you're in a company like we do with autonomous teams testing all the time, A/B test, that I have the slightest hint on the detail of what's going on there would be hugely exaggerated. So if you believe in autonomous teams, if you believe in 1,000 experiments at the same time running, me knowing the detail of all of those, hundreds of thousands we've done since we started, would be overestimating my capacity. I'm sure that didn't answer your question, but thank you for the question.
Peter, I want to test your diplomacy skills. You're the manager for the whole of Europe. We're thinking of opening an office here in Europe. Should we do it in Amsterdam, or some other locations we should be looking at?
Well, Amsterdam, to be honest, it's for us, it's a fantastic, sometimes people think, well, why is Booking.com? Well, because we started here, right? That's where it started, and in a very small scale. The ability to attract people here from over the world is quite good. If you look at the most 5 tech cities, I think, in the world, I think Amsterdam ranks 5th on the world, which is really, for a small city like Amsterdam, huge, right? So Austin, I saw, was also a good choice. There were others, London was also there. But I think Amsterdam really has, it's easy for people to settle in, it's easy for people to find their way. The community speaking English is, I think, a big pro. And I think the housing hunt is getting a bit more complex. So access to housing is of course a big challenge, and we see that also for our teams. But the ability for us to attract people from all over the world is still very much there. So if you start a business, don't compete with us, but do come here.
You can come to Rotterdam as well.
Oh, okay. I'll make a note of that.
One final question now for you, Peter. What I have when looking at vacation rental, you have the history coming from the hotel industry where there's always staff at the premises, there's revenue management, there's capabilities, cleaning is well organized. If you go to vacation rentals, you have individual homeowners, and actually you make the booking, and then the holiday starts a little bit later. How do you make sure and continue to make sure that the holiday is really excellent for the holiday maker? Given the fact that the customer is so centric, how do you make sure that the holiday of your customers?
Yeah, so I think the booking window is quite long. Is that what you're referring to? So between the moment you book it to you stay, there's a long window, which we do see in leisure travel too. So for us, the leisure, to be honest, Q3 for us is really the biggest still. So the summer peak is really the summer peak. So in leisure travel, you do see these long booking windows. I think it is important, especially if you want to stay engaged with your customers. How do you, during that whole period, stay incredibly engaged with your customer? The customer may want to message the property, you can facilitate that. The customer may have requests for experiences, you can facilitate it. So keep that communication live is very something that we do with technology and marketing.
Ladies and